Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon talking Cardinals baseball here on Inside Pitch. Let's start out with the congratulations, Gordo. It's our first Inside Pitch since Scott Rolen has been elected to Cooperstown. He'll be headed into baseball's Hall of Fame this summer. We both think it's certainly deserved. There's a debate going on, though. Which hat will be on his plaque? Will he be one of the logo guys? Will he be a specific team? Obviously, the two teams up for debate, the Phillies, the Cardinals. Shockingly, I think we both probably think it should be the Cardinals. It sounds like Rolen wants to wear one of the teams on his hats. His peak came with the Cardinals, and he won a championship here. This really shouldn't be that hard, Gordo. He's got to have a Cardinals hat on, right?
Right, and I think the thing about the Cardinals, there's a celebration of history here. There's such a connection with other greats that Scott feels. And the fact they brought him back in the fold and, made amends, and he's now one of the gang, and he's got his jacket. This is a franchise that just embraces. Now, not that the Phillies don't, but it's Philadelphia. I mean, come on. You know those people, what they're like. Here,
hey, the Phillies were in the World Series last year.
Well, that's true, but just the people there, Benford.
Wow, it's personal.
It is.
Wow,
the people. Here you got the warm embrace of these.
Cardinals fans have never ridden a player hard or
most of them are just the warm embrace. Okay, there's the occasional outlier.
Paul DeYoung objects.
Somebody, Matt Carpenter, might have heard a few harsh words on the internet, seen a few things on the interwebs. But
Dexter Fowler, who recently retired, objects.
Well, and he just did have a tough period here in his career. This is true, but still, mostly there's the warm embrace of these friendly Midwesterners, and he's a friendly Midwesterner. Well, okay, not always friendly, but still, generally speaking, I haven't made a great case, but I think he's going in as a Cardinal.
I do too. So we agree on that. Let's disagree on something. You are upset about the direction the Hall of Fame is moving, and this is not a Scott Rolen take of yours, but you're saying, hey, this is a joke right now with some of the guys who are left out, some of the guys who are eventually going to be getting in if certain guys are left out. I tend to agree with you on some of it. Maybe we differ on parts of it. I am glad Scott Rolen got elected, Gordo, because if he wouldn't, in the past 3 years, the Riders would have put no one in 2 of those years, and the only exception would have been the year they elected David Ortiz, who, while likable according to a lot of people, has some of his own, performance-enhancing suspicions floating over his head. That's probably not the best message to send. Where do you think this goes? Have the Riders put themselves in a corner by taking a strong stance on PEDs and maybe opening themselves up to kind of trending toward Hall of Very Good instead of Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think 2 things. And I think we'd agree that it's unfortunate there's just a lot of candidates that just weren't good enough to get in. And they're going to continue to get in through the back door. There shouldn't be a back door, but there is. I applaud the Riders for working very hard to try to pick guys who deserve the baseball side of the merit. Where I nitpick, and more than just pick, is the nit is that, look, performance-enhancing misuse of medical science is not new. This goes back to guys jacking themselves with painkillers, taking cortisone shot after cortisone shot after cortisone shot, perverting medical science so they could keep pitching ridiculous amounts of innings and win games. Now, people say, well, that's way different than getting stronger to hit more home runs. Actually, I would say physically being able to play the game of baseball only because you perverted medical science. If you're going to start disqualifying people, you're going to have to wipe out all of those guys in the 60s that were doing that routinely. Guys
I don't know that popping a greenie is the same as injecting the
taking
steroids.
The needle.
Barry Bonds going from a guy who hit a bunch of singles and doubles to a guy who was the all-time home run king. Like I don't know if I'm buying that.
Well, if a guy who can't lift his arm takes cortisone shot after cortisone shot after cortisone shot,
that's just being tough.
That's rubbing horse liniment on his elbow, the stuff they use on horses. Again, jacking yourself with painkillers. These guys were pin cushions, and so was Barry Bonds. But so to me, it's like you're going to start. There's just no way to parse all this. Let all the best players in, deal with it. You don't want Pete Rose in? Well, then why are you taking all that gambling money? What's with that? So, gambling's good, except when you've been on your own team.
Except when the stadiums start putting in their own sports books, then it's okay. Here's where I'm frustrated.
All right.
And here's my rant. the same writers who say absolutely not to guys who are using PEDs, which where you draw that line, I get it. The thing is, if you're going to draw it based off speculation, then you can't just avoid that speculation when it's somebody you like David Ortiz, who's friendly with the media and gregarious, and you can't hammer Barry Bonds and then let David Ortiz get in and expect anyone to believe this isn't about did you like the guy or not. My other thing is this, and it's the same track, Carlos Beltran. Okay, most hitters would tell you, would you rather have a lot of big enhanced muscles to be able to hit the ball a mile and not know which pitch is coming, or would you rather know which pitch is coming? Most of them would tell you they would be a better hitter if they knew which pitch was coming than if they had a bunch of big enhanced muscles. Carlos Beltran was at the front of that sign stealing scandal with the Astros. He knew it was wrong. He was in a veteran position of leadership. He did it anyway. There's no debate about the role he played in it. He didn't get in on this first ballot, but the amount of votes he got probably trend in that direction. Add that to the list of things that just don't look right if you're all of a sudden going to be super ethical about one side of this and then ignore the sign stealing scandal because, well, Carlos Beltran's a nice guy.
Yeah, the other thing about that is, though, too, the flip side for me, and I'm going to sound like I'm pro-juicing and pro-cheating.
We're not talking about a guy on second base who was picking up the signs and relaying to his teammate. If you can do that, we're talking about the use of a camera that went against the rules of baseball that had been enforced. They knew they weren't supposed to be doing that.
But if you can't figure out that they understand that you're tipping pitches or they're stealing signs, if you can't figure that out quickly, and if you can't adjust your signs, I just got to feel sorry for you because you're stupid. People have been stealing signs forever.
Oh, they're supposed to know that there was an elaborate ruse that included the banging of a trash can and cameras they weren't supposed to be accessing? That's going a little too far.
If the trash can occurs, but you're deaf, you can't hear it. Apparently, they're using the signal, and you go back, you look at the tape, you hear the banging of the drum. It should be pretty easy to pick up. I mean, I'm not that pro-cheating, but at some point, you just can't make excuses for everything that you just missed. How do you miss that?
All right, well, yeah, good luck to your unethical, Hall of Fame full of cheaters and bad actors.
Think of
I'd really like to visit. I can't wait to go see your Hall of Fame.
Think of the exhibits that my Hall of Fame would have. The really cool exhibits, the surveillance videos. I mean, we could have a whole
Here's
room.
The thing. Either pick one or pick the other, because this waffling in the middle that the voters do sometimes, it's pretty hard to explain, as you've seen today. In the marathon session of Inside Pitch, for Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.